All right, welcome. This briefing is absolutely essential for every leader involved in our South Korea expansion. What we're about to cover isn't just about best practices. It's a critical framework to protect our investment and actually build something that lasts. Get this right and the market is ours. Get it wrong, and, well, the damage can take years to undo.
Let's start with a warning, one that should echo in your mind during every single decision you make here. A polished resume? That should open the conversation, but it can never, ever be allowed to close the decision. This one idea is the foundation for everything we're about to discuss.
So let's dive into a scenario that I promise you're going to face. It's the candidate who just seems perfect, almost too good to be true. And that right there, that's the trap.
So this is the resume that hits your desk, right? And it checks all the boxes. You see the big, recognizable company names. You see the senior titles, the long tenures. Their achievements read like a greatest hits album of market launches. And of course, the formal references, they all come back glowing. The whole thing just feels safe. It feels easy.
But I'm here to tell you that feeling of safety, that is your single biggest risk. That gut feeling that says, this is the one. That's your alarm bell. That is the precise moment you have to stop, take a breath, and start digging a whole lot deeper.
Now, let's look at what happens when we don't slow down, when we fall for that perfect resume. We've seen a pattern play out over and over again with these hires. It's so common, we've actually given it a name. We call it the 18-month cliff.
And look, this isn't just some random bad luck. It's a predictable, almost clockwork cycle. As you can see, it starts out great. The first 3 months are a rocket launch. Big numbers, high energy, everyone's excited. But then, it starts to stall. Sometime between months 6 and 12, the distributor network, which is the lifeblood of this business, starts to show cracks. Your key field leaders quietly pull back, and then, right around month 18, boom. The GM exits, all your momentum is gone, and any trust you've built in the market is just shattered.
And of course, back at headquarters, everyone's scratching their heads asking this exact question. The product's great, the market is there, so what is going wrong on the ground? The answer isn't in your sales data. It's not in your comp plan. It's in everything that perfect resume was hiding.
The real problem, the one you can't see, is this massive invisible gap between the official corporate story you're being told and the reality for the people who are actually out there building the business in the field.
Let's be blunt. Your standard reference checks, they're basically useless here. They are culturally programmed to be incomplete. In Korea, publicly saying anything negative about a former colleague is a huge social risk. So the formal references you get will always be positive or kind of neutral. They'll just confirm what's on the paper. They tell you nothing you actually need to know.
Now this slide, this is where it all becomes crystal clear. Look at the difference between what your process tells you and what's really going on. On the left, the resume says strong leadership qualities. But on the right, the field leaders say people were afraid of them. The resume boasts about building a successful network. The reality is that network completely fell apart the second they left. This giant disconnect is what sends you straight over that 18-month cliff.
And you have to understand, this isn't just an HR problem. The cost of getting this wrong is real, it's tangible, and frankly, it's devastating. Let's actually look at the damage.
We've watched companies just churn through 2, sometimes even 3 general managers in their first couple of years. This isn't just a number on a slide. It's a brutal cycle of failure that is not only expensive, but entirely preventable.
Because every time one of these hires fails, it's not just a reset. It's a catastrophe that sends shockwaves through the business. You get a mass exodus of your distributors, and they take their people with them. Your brand's reputation gets dragged through the mud, compliance goes out the window, and you're stuck with a huge leadership vacuum right when you need stability the most.
Okay, so that's the problem. It's a big one. The crucial question is, how do you break the cycle? Well, it all comes down to fundamentally changing the questions you ask and who you're asking.
This isn't about creating more work. It's about doing the right work. You have to talk to former field leaders. I'm telling you, the view from the trenches is always more honest than the view from the corner office. Really dig into their career history. Do they have a pattern of joining at the exciting launch phase and then bailing right when the hard work of long-term growth begins? And don't let them get away with vague visions. Demand specifics. What's the plan for year 2, year 3, and year 4?
So I want you to completely reframe how you think about this. Choosing your general manager, that is not an HR task. It's not something you just delegate. It is the single most important strategic decision you will make for the Korean market, period.
Look, I know the pressure from headquarters to move fast is going to be immense.
you have to resist it. The short-term win of just getting someone in the seat is nothing compared to the long-term pain of getting it wrong. I guarantee you, the cost of a bad hire is always, always higher than the cost of waiting for the right one.
And that brings us right back where we started, to that core principle. The resume isn't the finish line, it's the starting pistol. Use it to begin a much deeper, much more thorough investigation into the reality of who this person really is on the ground.
So this is the final question I'll leave you with. Is your process built to feel safe, or is it built to actually succeed? A process that feels safe relies on those polished resumes and those worthless formal references. A process built for success is willing to look deeper, ask the tough questions, and choose long-term stability over short-term speed. The choice you make here will define our future in Korea.